Boom! That's me. It's me. It's the D-O-double-G, Snoop Dogg. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Gary Shipman's chat and Gary Shipman. It's P-Money, Jeff Potts, Nighthawk, Video James. Wow, I feel honored. So many people here today. Working on something here, a potential project with somebody. This is just me messing around for now, but doing a little drawing based on the Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome poster. Like that movie a lot, watched it recently, so just gonna do a little something based on that, and hopefully you guys will enjoy. What? Should I talk louder? Let me turn up the sound. Why? Was that better? Is that fine? What if I talk right into it like this? Yeah. Reese, Humphrey Bear, Some Big Jerk, all the OP Dog, Wrench. Everybody's here today. Welcome. Yeah. You were just going to message me. What did I do wrong, Reese? Just kidding. Let's see here. If you guys don't know, which I don't know, everyone here should know. Gary Shipman is, I don't just say this lightly, mind you. One of my favorite artists, and I mean that, like, I'm not qualifying that as, one of my favorite comic book artists or one of my favorite independent comic book artists. I'm just saying one of my favorite artists and a really nice human being. And he has a comic book that is crowdfunding now. Most of you watching this, of course, already know and have already backed it. But the off chance that somebody is watching this that has not backed it, you should take the opportunity to do so if you're able. See, Reese said, I wanted to know if you wanted to come on the show on Thursday. It's a possibility. Let me discuss it with Lady Vixen. A secret FlyFox project. Yes, P-Money. You can call Operation Make P-Money Happy. And this is, if you guys are familiar with some of the other work I've done, comic book related, other than my own projects I do that I write and draw myself, you'll know that it's been shorter stuff, some short content, a bonus comic with Otis Stein, the Otis Stein campaign. That's Matthew Veely's comic. Did a bonus comic for that campaign. And then I also drew a Ralph comic for the Corona Kings zine that came out earlier this year. And that was also with Matthew Veely. So, here's the thing. This one's actually going to be something a little bit longer than those. So those were just like mini comics. They weren't a long one, but this is actually going to be more of a full-size comic if the project happens. So I'll keep you guys apprised and aware of it. But I thought I'd pop on here as I was working on this idea. This is just a little something to do that's kind of fun. in the vein of Mad Max and everything. Oh, good. Yeah, good. That's all right, Nighthawk. Yeah, thanks for wishing me a nice stream. You go draw, man. Keep at it. I'm excited to see what you do. Let's see. Gary says we don't need another hero. Yeah, this won't be a heroic comic that we're thinking about here. It's gonna be an anti-hero at best, but maybe not even an anti-hero, just a person. Wrench, so I've not backed up because I don't have money, and tomorrow I'm going to be 15. That's all right, Wrench. We understand everybody here understands that there are extenuating circumstances to why people may or may not back a comic book. It's the bottom line is this is all discretionary income. I mean, there's no need to actually. Maybe I should put like a glove on here. She's got a rubber glove. Be more up here, I guess. Do that a different color, like a rubber glove. And yeah, hit the FlyFoxPro like button. Like and share. That's always helpful. Not sure, since this is just a preliminary idea, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these people down here, but I thought I'd at least block them in here so that we have an idea. I mean, we could do a building down here, like put another layer in the. We could just do like a building or a car or something, maybe a character's vehicle. Doesn't have to be these people, but I thought I'd add them in since they're on the original poster. I don't know. There's way too many characters there. Let's see, what are people saying? Ruth is busy making cereal. Out of the ruins, out from the wreckage. Can't make the same mistake this time. That's right. That's right. This is Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome is my favorite of the Mad Max films. And I rewatched it recently because I had written a review a while ago, or started writing a review, or a video, I don't want to call them reviews, a video essay, if you will, about Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. I don't think it's just a theory, my interpretation of the movie is that it's about parenting, parenthood, and there's other themes that come up in it, but that's a major one. It starts out, the first characters you see other than Max himself, and the first ones you actually see their face, are father and son. And then the end of the movie, the last characters you see other than Max himself are a mother and child. So that could tell you there what themes you want to talk about, you should be thinking about when watching the film. But it's one of my... It's not one of my favorite movies, but it's definitely my favorite Mad Max movie. There's no competition, at least for me. I have not seen that newest one, but I don't really see that as having much of a chance to usurp the position of Beyond Thunderdome. There you go. You know who else there's also a Tupac Shakur song that uses a Thunderdome in the video, which was fun. But when did Tina Turner become a nurse? I don't know. It's a good question. She played this weird, crazy anti-character, so why can't she play a nurse, man? Why are you so biased against her acting abilities? Why you gotta judge her like that? Why you gotta judge her like that? Humphrey. Yeah, so that's why Matthew explained to Humphrey Bear why Max is so mad. I thought it was a daughter, though. It's been a while since I've seen the first one. Judging from the videos and the synopsis I've read of Mad Max Fury Road, I feel like it's a rehash of everything that Max learned in Road Warrior and in Beyond Thunderdome. So I'm okay with that. The idea that these franchises have to have some like deep lore or a cohesive ongoing story. Like, I don't think Mad Max needs to have like a cohesive ongoing story. Or you need to, well, how do we reconcile the timeline of Mad Max? Nah, I don't think that's dumb. Well, I do think it's dumb. I don't think that's worth people's time. If you look at it more like I heard someone say they thought about it as like a mythic telling, like characters. If there was people telling stories about this mythic character of Max, right? In both Road Warrior and Beyond Thunderdome, you have characters that are sort of telling the story of Max. Especially Road Warrior starts out with that narration, and Beyond Thunderdome ends with it, different characters. But there's basically people talking about Max and the story of him. So if you think about it, like, here is this heroic person, and then he's done all these things, and this is these people's perception of this mythic character. I think that's a good way to think about it. Is Mad Max Mighty Max, but all grown up? I don't know. It's possible. Anybody remember those Mighty Max little figures? They were like the Polly Pockets for boys, and there was a TV show of it. Ruth feels bad. She was saying the girl's boobs look really pointy. Then she realized it wasn't her boob. Yes, that is his. It's fine. That is the Mad Max little football pads, which I understand why these biker gangs and the people that he's interacting with in the world of Mad Max wear these football pads and stuff, and like spikes on them and stuff. Like, that makes sense to me to some degree, that they're trying to appear menacing, I guess. But it really has never made any sense to me why Max has just one random shoulder pad from football pads on his jacket. Like, did he take time to sew that onto his jacket, to like attach that onto his jacket? Did he use a hot glue gun? Did he sew it somehow? Riveting? Did he use rivets? Like, what? How did he attach it to his jacket? That's the questions. That's the kind of questions that I have. Is what was the point of that? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you guys know. Let's see. Reese says the weird thing is that 2 could come after 1, but 3 could not be in the same continuous timeline from 1. I saw a video about them that made a case that they're, at least the timeline for the first 3 seemed plausible in the video that I watched. Fury Road just basically said, because it was originally written for Mel Gibson, and then time got away from everybody and they cast Tom Hardy as Max, and so it was supposed to star an aging Max, many years removed from the other movies, and it would have had some themes about the ending of his story. And then that didn't work out. They got a new actor, and so he's way younger than Max should be. So where it fits in it, I don't know. Yeah, some big jerk. It's very Rashomon in that respect, right? Characters from different perspectives telling these stories about somebody. How did this event take place. Yeah, I guess so, if we think about it as something like that. P Money says, I just always say the Mad Max movies take place in different universes. I don't think you need to think about it that differently. I think it's I don't think they need to be explained in that much detail. It's not The Godfather, right? It's not even something like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where they're building towards something, where they have this idea of how do we build this continuous story. Or it's not even really the original Star Wars trilogy. It's something that was built a piece at a time. And let me see if I can find, well, I don't know. There's a video you can look up about the timeline of Mad Max, and they talk about why the movies, why they took the shape that they take, and how that came to be. And it really, it's like, I don't know if you guys ever heard this song that Johnny Cash did called One Piece at a Time. It's a sort of a story to this song. In the song, he's a character that has, he works at a Cadillac plant making cars. And he takes home a piece at a time, right? So that he can build his own Cadillac at home. So he absconds with these pieces, and over time he says, oh, I'll have a car at the end of this. And by the end of the song, he has a Cadillac, but it has all these different pieces, a right fender from this year and a transmission from this year. And so it's coming together not organically. And so it doesn't quite fit. And I think that's okay. I really do. It's why, I don't get mad. I know some people really like the idea of these cohesive, coherent continuities, but it's not really been that huge. It can be a lot of fun when done right, but especially when it comes to comic books, with there being so many different people working on it and told over so many years, I just say individual stories is what I'm focused on. Let's see, Gary is still singing songs. That's fine. P Money has to get some work done. Hopefully he can check back in a little while. Yes, hopefully. I am okay with the idea of movie franchises not having to make too much. And sometimes if it's really egregious, it can be bothersome. But it doesn't really bother me all that much usually. All right. I thought, what if we played some of you guys can hear that. If I need to turn it up or down. If you can hear that Christmas music I've turned on in the background. Some big jerk. Terminator series is more fun when you ignore continuity too. Yeah, I haven't seen many. I haven't seen, was it Dark Genesis? There's 2 that I haven't seen, the 2 newest ones. I've seen 1, 2, and 3, and I've seen, there's a Dark Fate. Whatever the one is with Batman. I've seen that one. And Sam Worthington, who's a terrible actor, the guy from Avatar, he's quite terrible. I think the first 2 make a sort of sense, but after that, who knows? And I've seen some of the TV show. Yeah, Back to the Future is pretty good. It's pretty tight narrative when it comes to time travel. Of course, the first one was completely standalone, didn't need a sequel. But if it was going to have sequels, at least it had ones that are decent and make sense. I guess I could go in and tighten some of this stuff up or add detail. Because we want this to be like super highly rendered. Maybe I'll even go in and try to paint it digitally, of course. I wonder if this is this must be a Drew. It doesn't. Oh no, who's this? Cell painted this, I guess. Very high quality. These paintings for movie posters were amazing, and I wish that they still did them. The movie posters now are just like, they can be well designed from a design standpoint, but they just don't look as, they're just not as fun. They're just not as fun. I thought about maybe adding some sort of like sunburst or something behind their head to sort of emulate how they have Tina Turner's hair in the original poster. You know, like something like that. We'll see. I don't know. This is just a fun thing to do. So I did watch Beyond Thunderdome over the past couple days. I think I didn't watch it all at once. I started it and then I ended up having to turn it off and watch it again later. But I also watched the Peanut Butter Falcon, which I don't know if you guys have seen that. It has everybody's favorite Shia LaBeouf in it. It was actually a fun little movie. I'm thinking about, I watched it without Lady Vixen, and I'm thinking about seeing if she wants to watch it with me and actually watch it again. But I like Shia LaBeouf. I didn't like him as Indiana Jones' son. For the most part, usually his movies, I like him. I think he's a decent actor. I think, unfortunately, as a child actor from Disney, he was at a disadvantage. But especially in this movie, I think the character he plays is kind of believable, and he's likable. So that's a good thing. That's nothing to complain about. But if you guys haven't seen that, it is on Amazon Prime. There is some language, but that's about it. I don't know if there was any. It might have been like one F word. I don't know what it's rated. But that's something to keep in mind if you guys are thinking about watching that. Also, let's see. Yeah, so that was pretty good. I don't have much to say about it. The thing about art and media in general is I think most things don't, especially when they're just okay or they're just good, they're not something absolutely amazing. They're not worth making a video about or doing a long form review. You know, when people are paid to be a movie critic or a movie reviewer for a newspaper or website or something, there's a reason why they have to do a review of every movie that they see. But I don't think, for the most part, I don't think it's worth discussing every movie. There's movies that I've tried that I want to talk about, but I can't quite find the right angle because there's not that much interesting about them. Why I want to talk about them, I don't know. Welcome Apollo Greek says, ooh, Christmas music, cool, yeah. Ooh, did I see Forces on Webtoons? I did not. Let's go to... So that's Reese's comic forces of good and evil. Webtoons. There it is. All right, let's share that as well. So this is everybody's interested in that. A lot of good free comics on Webtoons. Yeah. Hopefully, so this is actually Christmas music from the Air Force Band, which I play a lot of music from the Air Force Band, and hopefully we don't get some sort of copyright violation or something. Because generally speaking, if this music is in the public domain and the Air Force Band is playing it, then it's owned by the government of the United States of America, and it cannot be. It's basically owned by the people. So hopefully that's the idea. Oh man, coughing. Yeah. All right, let's get back to drawing. New full color updates weekly. Wow. That's cool, man. I will go ahead and subscribe to that. I think you guys should as well. All right, see you, Reese. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate that. Appreciate everyone who's still here watching. So I'm going to be doing, just for fun, I'm going to be putting together a Lego Advent calendar this year. And I'm going to be hopefully putting up videos of me putting those together. I don't know if it's going to be live stream or not, but it will definitely be fun to see those. Let me know if I can make it Friday. Rick Piper requested you. Wow, yes. All right. I will definitely try to make it. I love Rick. So, what's the topic? As a general rule of drawing, you don't want to put too many lines on your female face that you're trying to draw. That's okay. Everybody has to do things the same way, I guess. We can all try to do our own types of to you as well. I like doing these under drawings when I do something more detailed. It's like the blue. When you go over it with brown and you sort of fill it in even more. Alright, the music's too loud. I get it. Tell me if that's too low. That's probably why people left. Well, I can barely hear me. What about now? If I just go like this, just talk right into it. Yes. Yes. Oh, hello, Mark. Mark, eventually I will get you things you won from the giveaway. But will not be right now. I have the list right here. It says you won Tales from the Classroom and a Sherlock poster print from Gary Shipman. So those will eventually get sent out. Just not anytime soon. I don't know why the sun has more shading, but it works. Yeah, I'm glad I had this list made. I was worried I lost it, and it was on my desk. It was just not where I was looking. And so I was like, oh, I need to find that list. And then Lady Vixen's like, it's right there. I was like, oh, thank God. So now it is sticky noted to my Mac that sits right here. So I'm working on the PC, and the Mac sits right here over this direction. And it's sitting right there. So I have the whole list of everybody's stuff. Things have been fun. Is that sarcasm, or have they genuinely been fun? I hope they've been genuinely fun. Life is interesting. Just when you think you're getting the hang of something, or you've got everything figured out, a curveball comes down the pipe, and you're one strike closer to being struck out. Yep, there you go. Mark Anna says, I keep asking the question every day. What could possibly go wrong? And of course, things go wrong. Yeah, there was a time, and apparently it's still going on, when Lady Vixen and I would literally say, what's next? That was our catchphrase, what's next? If you guys remember Goldberg, the wrestler, used to say, who's next, right? Who's next? Who's he going to beat next? Well, it was what's next for us. We're like, what terrible thing is going to happen? The dog going to die? Our water heater going to go out? Our air conditioner? What is it now? It was crazy, and it's still ongoing. Someone did say a strike. Do you like sports metaphors, Mr. Artiste? Matt C., if you guys haven't gotten his amazing comic book work, Kyrie, I recommend it. I've reviewed both the first and second volume of that, in which I gave a recommendation of them both, I think. Goldberg. Yeah, I liked Goldberg as a kid. I didn't watch much wrestling, but he was huge for kids, especially children liked him. Actually, WCW wrestling was, for a while, the only wrestling I had access to, because wrestling was all on cable, and we didn't have cable, but there was a syndicated show that showed some matches, and it would talk about updates of, like, this storyline and that. I didn't really understand at the time because I was only watching this show, but it was WCW, and I remember watching a Rey Mysterio Jr., as he was called at the time, a Rey Mysterio Jr. match, and oh man, I thought he was the greatest. And then SmackDown started, and that was on UPN, and then eventually Rey Mysterio came over, and I was like, yay, hooray. Mark Anthony says he's somewhat enjoying the chaos. Well, right on. If you can find the happiness amidst the pain, the joy. Happiness is overrated. The joy amidst the suffering and pain. Right on. Right on. Let's give this guy some more. He's not exactly as supposed to be as handsome and as rugged as Mel Gibson. Don't turn your back on the wolf pack. That's right. You know, the wolf pack. All those crazy cats like Conan and all them, yeah. But honestly, that was the only WCW I watched, was that syndicated show. So it's not like I was a huge WCW guy. And they weren't showing Goldberg matches on that. On the syndicated show. That was only to get you to go to the bigger show, to watch the bigger shows, or to go to them when they came locally to your town, or to buy the pay-per-views. It wasn't really much happening on it, to be honest. And then, like I was saying, SmackDown came onto UPN, and so then I started watching the WWF and got really into that during the Attitude Era. So I watched SmackDown because I remember friends, I'd see shirts at like pizza places that you could win the prizes, and I'd see the like, you know, Mick Foley, Mankind, and Ken Shamrock, and all these, you know, The Rock and everything. But I couldn't watch WWF, so I just like, I knew their names. And then my friends would talk about them, and I remember them talking about some of the stuff they'd seen on Raw. And then when SmackDown started, we started watching it within like the first month or two of when it came on air. That's when we were like, oh man, let's watch this. So we started watching a lot of that and watched most of it. You know, for a few years, I would say, we watched a lot of wrestling there on SmackDown when it was on UPN. So that's my time's at Attitude Era. Basically, 1999 to 2001 is the late Attitude Era. That's when I watched wrestling, and then I've watched it off and on through the years. But it's something I've enjoyed. And I actually was able to introduce Lady Vixen to it. She'd never watched wrestling. Had no... You know, she liked basketball. She liked to watch basketball from time to time. The Phoenix Suns and stuff when they were real big in the 90s. And then later with Steve Nash and stuff. But she wasn't a big sports person. So wrestling, you know, was a little... It was a hard ask. But I was able to explain it to her and to, I guess, to teach her what it is that people like about it and what was special about it. And she really does enjoy wrestling now. So that was fun to be able to introduce her to it and to see her start to like it and to have her favorite wrestlers and stuff. Let's see. Lorenzo says, I can't stay, but I stopped by to say hi and press like. I also shared out the link on Twitter and in the Slee Stack Kids Club. Thank you, Lorenzo. I appreciate that. Golden Blue, hello, welcome. Yeah, if you haven't liked and subscribed, that's super helpful. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, one thing that helps out is just sharing it. For anything that you like. When you like a video on Twitter, when you like it on YouTube, I mean. When you like it on YouTube, that helps just to hit that like button, to leave a comment if it's a video that's not live. Leave a comment for people. That's really helpful to them to get that out for people. Thank you, Lorenzo. Yeah, it's an homage, if you will, or a straight rip-off of the Mad Max poster. So we'll see how it turns out. Is that so? I didn't know that, Lady Vixen, that I wasn't the first to try to get you to understand like wrestling, but I was the first one to succeed. Yeah, I missed Doug's... So, commenting on Eric's comment here. I missed Doug's show earlier, and I'm so sad because I love Doug Garrett. But liking those things, putting a comment is so valuable, subscribing, but also just like, even if you think you don't have a reach with social media, I don't have that many followers, or my friends on Facebook don't usually see it, you never know. Just sharing those things, it can be huge. Or like taking the time to go post something on Reddit, right? Like Reddit is not big on self-promotion, most of the Reddit things, but like when people that like something go and post something, I really liked this video, that's big. That can be really helpful to people. So not just me, but all the people that you guys like, all the YouTubers or videos that you watch, just share those out from time to time. Recommend them to people in your daily life, and help them out that way. So I think, if I'm looking at this right, I think the idea, her hair is up like that. Excuse me. Her hair is up like that, and it's sort of like the sun, right? A lot of Mad Max takes place in the desert, really hot. So you have that on your poster, the idea of that, and so her hair is sort of like the sun. So that's why I put a sun behind my person's head. My favorite wrestler as a kid, when I first started watching, was The Rock. Definitely The Rock. He was huge, man. Everybody loved The Rock, but I was so sad when he'd lose. Oh, Nigel Movie Guy. If you guys have not subscribed to Nigel, that's a good subscription to have. In the desert sun, every step that you take could be the final one. Is that so? Let's see. Yep, that's the Tina Turner song from Mad Max. I'd play it, but I don't want to get copyrighted. I'll just continue to noodle at this forever. Rework it. Alright, so her chest is kind of messed up. It shouldn't really be that prominent. So high up, so we'll try to just give a hint there. Or maybe not even do it. We don't need another hero. That's right. Gary was singing that earlier. You missed it, Mark. Gary was here and he was singing that as well. But I was talking about Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome earlier. What I was saying is the movie is about parenting. It's about... it really has a lot to do with, I think, the theme of being a parent and the self-sacrifice that comes with that. Being willing to sacrifice your own well-being for that of your children. In this case, we get some different examples of that. One of the things that I think might be overlooked is people are like, oh, well, of course there's parents in the film. There's the guy with the plane that's in Road Warrior and in Beyond Thunderdome. He has a son. The kids that Max finds, that find him, they are not only like his children and how he's taking responsibility for their well-being, but they also have their own children. One of them is pregnant, and then at the end we see children. And something I pointed out earlier for the people that just came in is that in the movie, the first people that you see, other than Max himself, which you don't even see his face, but you see them, is a father and son. And then at the end of the film, the last people you see other than Max are a mother and her child. So this idea of parents and parenting, parenthood, if you will, I think are a big theme for that movie. It's also, we've seen Max from his fall into, the tragedy of Mad Max 1. And then the sort of redemption of Mad Max 2. And now he's at this point where he is a hero that we don't need, maybe, as Tina Turner says. Welcome, General Grudge. But one thing to keep in mind is Tina Turner's character in the movie is called Auntie, right? And she's kind of, if you look at Bartertown, the town that Thunderdome is at, you have Auntie and then you have Master Blaster. So you have these two figures that are vying for authority over Bartertown. And she's not a mother, she's an auntie, right? And not even like a real aunt, right? When you say like, oh, that's my aunt, that's a relationship there. There's a familial relationship. But an auntie, that's sort of like someone you know, right? A lot of time. I think that factors in because she's not really a parent. There's a separation there from the people that has authority over, this place that she has authority over. But the idea of being responsible for them is lost because of all the apocalyptic things that have happened to this, to everything. And then she ends up losing what she had because she's not willing to take that responsibility and that familial relationship, that parenthood role over the people of Bartertown. She's not willing to compromise. She's not willing to sacrifice. And neither is Master of the Master Blaster. But once he is humbled, he's much more able to, I think, adapt after he's been humbled. So, I don't know. It was very interesting to think about as I rewatched it just recently. I don't know if I'm gonna do a whole video about it. I'd have to rewatch it and really pick out the individual parts that I think refer to these themes, but I don't know that there's that much really in it to make a huge long video about. One of my favorite YouTube channels, I guess you'd call him. He has two channels. His name's Rob Ager, R-O-B, and then last name A-G-E-R, or Collative Learning, C-O-L-L-A-T-I-V-E, Learning. He does these really in-depth videos about movies. A lot of Stanley Kubrick stuff. He's even done some about Road Warrior. But he really talks about the craft of film and the depth to which a lot of filmmakers they put into the movies that you never see. Elements of the way they tie together their themes, or the way that they're commenting on some aspect of society. And you may not even get it. Most people might not even get it, but they're still putting a lot of depth into these. And he does these really crazy in-depth videos where he sees he is able to link all of these different things together to these themes, and to figure out how the directors and the writers and everybody work together to include references to these themes with the camera movements and everything. And sometimes I'm able to pick up on some of that stuff. I studied filmmaking, and there's some times where I can pick up on those things, but he's some whole new level. And if you like, I'd highly recommend checking out his channel. I'll even post a link. I'll post both of them, I guess, because he has videos on both of them, both of these channels. And I don't agree with everything that the guy says. Why would I? I hate putting that out there, but even then, it's not like it's a political thing that I'm disagreeing with. It's just his analysis of film, so I want to say that. But he always has a good point, and it makes you think about when you're making art. Are you thinking about these things? Are you thinking about crafting them to this level and this degree? Oops, there he started talking. Mark Anthony says, back at a time when messages in films were subtle. Yeah, when the narrative and the plot of the movie was the experience of it, crafting a good story, crafting an entertaining film was the goal. And the themes were things that you came out through the story. Like, there's things that once this guy points it out, I'm like, yeah, that's in there. I think he's right about that. But it's not something that it was beating you over the head with. And yeah, we've talked about that kind of thing over and over again ad nauseum on this channel. But I agree. Back when there was subtlety, there was things that people they never got until recently. Because back then, you saw a movie once in the theater, or you had to go back and see it, or if there was a theater that was showing a special showing of it years later, that was the only way to see these films back in the day. And then we got VHS and Betamax, and of course they were showing things on TV, but the quality of those wasn't as good. So you weren't able to pick out the intricate details of some of these films. Like what's written on a newspaper that someone's reading, or what's in the background. Even on DVD, a lot of these things went unnoticed. And now that we have access to high fidelity images, to really clear images, to high definition images, especially with things like 4K. Not all of these things are good, by the way. Not all 4K restorations are great or good, or even Blu-ray restorations for something like Disney are actually can be done bad. For some of the Disney cartoons have been done poorly. But a lot of those things give us an opportunity to look and see what the director did. One of the things he points out is in Gremlins, which if you guys haven't seen Gremlins, that's a great movie. But he points out that like there's dust on a record player in the background, and there's the gremlin paw prints in the dust. And I don't think anybody would have noticed that had we not gone to, when I watch Gremlins this year, because we like to watch it around Christmas, as it is Christmas themed, I'm going to look for that and see if I can see it, but I only have it on DVD, and I want to see, will I be able to pick up those details? But he's definitely one of my favorite commenters on film, because he like utterly believes everything he's saying. A lot of times people seem like they're putting on some sort of YouTube act. I do to some degree. You see the real me, I think, but I can get animated in real life when I'm with close friends or family. But in my general day-to-day life, I'm not as animated as I am here on some of these YouTube videos. But this guy, you really seem to get his, like, I completely buy that he believes what he's saying. Whereas a lot of people, they seem to be putting on a persona, or they seem to be, not that you distrust what they're saying, but they seem to they're much more about the show that they're putting on rather than what they're trying to say about what they're commenting on. And he's just bare bones. There's no frill to it. It's just, this is what I think about this movie and what it's about. Should put that arm off somewhere. So I don't even know if I'm gonna do anything with these figures down at the bottom, but I thought I'd add them since they were. That's so many. There's not even gonna be that many characters if this work gets done, so it's kind of pointless. Well, who are some of the people that you like to watch? One of my favorites doesn't do it anymore, which was Every Frame a Painting. That channel was always putting out amazing, not all, but whenever they did put out a video, it was worth watching, and you learned a lot from them. But they stopped doing it. They didn't think it was worth their time, which I understand completely. But some of the people like Nerd Writer or Entertain the Elk or Super Eye Patch Wolf, these are some of the people that I watch from time to time. I don't watch all of their videos. A lot of them don't appeal to me. They're far more on the left end of the political spectrum that I am most of the time. There's not a lot of nuance in what they say. Not specifically these guys, but generally what I see is it trending the other way in terms of people that are putting out content. What's funny is people like Red Letter Media, who are just, they make schlock themselves, and they're very crass, and you wouldn't expect the level of nuance that they have, where they often do not agree with me on life and how it ought to be lived, ethics and morality. I'm sure they disagree with me just about 100% on a lot of stuff. But they often do have nuance and are a lot more fair, I think, than some of these more hoity-toity types, which is funny. But those are good. There was one that Nerd Writer did recently where he's talking about a John Woo, Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, which I found to be interesting. Lorenzo says he is subscribed to Super Eye Patch Wolf. Yeah, I enjoy his stuff. So he talks about manga and anime and wrestling, actually. Interesting mix. And he's talked about some other stuff, I think, over the years. He's an Irish fella, and he puts a lot of time and effort into his videos. They're usually really well produced. And I generally watch most of them. If there's something I'm really not that interested in, I may or may not watch it. But for the most part, I watch his videos, and I really like them. But some of those other ones, I don't watch all the videos they put out. Another guy I like that does reviews, he talks about mostly fantasy stuff, which is In Deep Geek. He talks about A Song of Ice and Fire, Lord of the Rings. He talked about the Witcher TV show, Westworld, which I haven't watched, so I don't think I watched those videos from him. But he talks about the lore of them. He talks about things like theories and things that people may or may not pick up in those books and shows. And I find them to be really fascinating. And there's people that I'll watch a bunch of their videos, and then I kind of get bored of them. Like, they don't have that much of... Really, Lorenzo, that's crazy. You had to leave the U out of the word subscribe due to YouTube censorship. That is stupid. But Mark, you're a wrench, so it probably won't censor you unless you say one of my banned words. But yeah, I pretty much anybody I'm talking about right now, I recommend their channels. Like I think they're worth at least checking out. Yeah, so it just censored old Lorenzo for saying they don't want people to sub for sub, which makes sense. They're trying to prevent people from gaming the system. I get it. They want to make sure that there's actually people interested in watching this channel, and it's not just like I said, someone trying to game the channel. Let me see. Is my yeah. One way to get around that is, of course, the Patreon thing, which I have a Patreon. It's linked in the video notes. But Mark Anthony says experiment time. That sounds ominous. Getting monetized on YouTube is a big deal. Like my friend Eric Johnson got monetized, and that's huge for him. It's fantastic. But he's not a huge channel, so he has to build up a back catalog of videos, and then hopefully those will get enough views accumulated that it's going to provide him with some sort of income from it. Oh, de-wrench you right quick. Okay. Alright. You're de-wrenched for now. I didn't see that comment. Well, the thing is, I find that sub for sub, or like, oh, post your channel up so people will check it out, is you're far less likely for those people that are coming in that way. Well, let's see, it didn't censor you, Mark. But type sub for sub. Let's see if it censors that. Just to check it out. I'm probably going to get flagged now for saying sub for sub. But was it really? Oh, so you approved it, Eric? Did you approve it? Because it just popped up on my screen, so maybe it could be slow, like it popped up on yours first and you approved it, and then... Crazy. Crazy. No, so, yeah, that's weird that it didn't pop up on mine. Or you're just that much quicker than me. Maybe I didn't even see it. I was looking away. Maybe I was... You saw it too on yours? Yeah. So Lady Vixen saw it on her end as well, on her phone. Crazy. But for mods, it allows you to say it. Yeah, but a lot of people on Gary's channel are mods. Yeah. Well, I saw that you wrote it earlier, Lorenzo, and when you said sub for sub, we had to approve that. Crazy. Makes sense. But like you're saying about growth, like you're much more likely for people to actually watch your videos if they find your channel organically and they like your content. Or if they're recommended, like, valuable thing for me is like I'm recommended by friends of mine, people like Nasser or Gary Shipman or others. They will they'll ask, hey, people, subscribe to this guy, and they're willing to check me out. They'll look if they like drawing streams, like Gary's drawing stream. Well, then they're gonna like my drawing streams, and if they're like comics, because Nasser writes comics and Gary makes comics, and I talk about them. They'll like that too, and then hopefully they'll like some of the other content that I do. But the more subscribers I get from videos that I make and people find it organically, the more likely they're going to go back and look at some of my old stuff. Or they're going to watch, they're going to sort of binge them and say, oh, well, he has a lot of interesting things. Oh, he talked about this. They'll go through. Or they'll, when a new video comes up, they're more likely to, can we give me some water?
Yes, can you grab my game off the shelf?
What is it? Oh, your game?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we say subscribe all the time on other channels. Yep, so it censored you there. Lorenzo says, YouTube makes it incredibly difficult to grow one's channel. They removed the feature to click on someone's name to visit their channel. Yeah, I hate that, man. I absolutely hate that. What a detriment that is to their to building of their community. That's why video game streamers on Twitch, you're way more likely, I feel like, if you're just a straight video game streamer, to develop a following. Because you go to someone's channel and say, oh, do you play games? Yeah, I play games. Oh, let me follow you. And Twitch wants people to follow other people. They want to promote that. At this point, Amazon is making it easier for people to get monetized. I'm monetized on Twitch. Now, nobody watches me on there because they don't usually... I didn't stream on there for a long time. But I'm monetized on Twitch. If you can build up a community of people, you would think that's what they'd want. But they don't. Yep. I didn't like that, Mark. So Video James found an extension, excuse me, as I burp right in the microphone, that lets you click on someone's name to visit their channel, but it used to be a built-in feature. Well, let's write it backwards. Yeah, that was such a great feature because there'd be a lot of times when I'd say, oh, I'd see someone's channel and say, oh, do they have a channel? Let me look that up. Or I'm interested to see if they've ever posted anything. And a lot of time they'll have put something up there. I'm like, oh, I'll give this person I'll hit that subscribe button for them. But now you can't click on them. And so it doesn't build the community. What they want is, they want to cater to this idea of a select group of people. They want it to be like a TV network, right? They want to have the kind of content that they want on there, and they want most of the people that watch it to be only a consumer. They don't want those people to build up. Why? I don't know. Because it doesn't. Maybe because it's not adding all that many more viewers to like people are going to watch. And maybe they've hit a plateau or something. I don't know. With how many people are watching YouTube at a given time, who knows? For some reason, it doesn't seem like they actually want new people to get there. One of the biggest things I thought was back just a few years ago when everybody could be monetized. There's videos that I had on my old channel that had thousands of views and it brought in me money. It brought me money. Even though I didn't have 1,000 subscribers, because sometimes your videos will get watched, but people don't subscribe. Maybe they look at the channel and they say, oh, he doesn't really have a lot of other content like this. That's one of my problems right now is most of the videos that I make that get a lot of views are about movies. And a lot of my content is comic book related. Now, I like talking about comic books on the channel. I don't think I'm going to stop that. But that might hinder me if people go to look at what kind of content I have. If they just see a bunch of live streams and drawing and they watched one of my videos where I'm talking about movies, maybe they don't subscribe, but they watched the video and they enjoyed it. So that happens a lot. And when basically, like, fortunately, some of my videos are what evergreen videos where they average the same amount of views regardless of what I do. My biggest one by far is my Pinocchio video. That gets a ton of views for me. It averages something like somewhere like between 20 and 40 views, sometimes up to 50 or more. Every 48 hours. That's pretty big. My other one is the one about Kidnapped that I did. That's called My Favorite Movie That No One Has Seen. That continues to get views constantly. There's other ones that keep getting views because people look those things up. It gets recommended to them. And if you're monetized, that matters because even if you're not getting new subscribers from that, you're at least, getting views. But I guess they don't care about that. What they're more interested in is someone watching your video and then clicking to an already monetized video. I think it's dumb that they'll censor words that I don't have censored on my channel. Like, there's certain words that I ban, but the fact that they aren't censoring, that they're pre-censoring a word that it's not offensive. There's nothing offensive about it. I think that's really stupid. I don't care for that at all. Just another example of how YouTube wants to control their audience. Sad. Lorenzo says, the legacy media is jealous of the popularity of alternative media such as YouTubers. So the Wall Street Journal started an adpocalypse by smearing PewDiePie as a national socialist. Wow. So it didn't censor that word, which I don't have any problem with. It's interesting. Tempted to tweet Team YouTube? Nah, don't talk about me on there. Has anybody been watching The Mandalorian? We just watched the new episode of that. Crazy, am I right? Am I right, everybody? What a crazy show. What a crazy average show that by no means is blowing me away, but is just refreshing because it's a decent average show in the grand scheme of everything. For today, it's like amazing, but General Grudge is a big fan. He says, me big fan. Ooh, ooh. Eric Hawkins, I love The Mandalorian. Sure, Mark. LOL. Nighthawk corrects me. I love Nighthawk, don't get me wrong. And Nighthawk, if you're watching, which I know you're not, he ditches me. He hates my channel. He doesn't like to watch my videos. And so he'll stop in for a little for right in the beginning, and then he'll dip out. But if Gary starts a new stream while I'm streaming, he goes to Gary's stream. It's fine. He doesn't have to like me. I just think it's funny. The Mandalorian. It's essentially a Western, but there's also there's always that Kurosawa, Ford, Hawks crossover. Western meets samurai elements to it, but I don't think I think we're so conditioned to garbage or to everything having to be this intricately woven, like serialized story like Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones or Westworld or whatever your show is that you like. Of those, I've only seen Breaking Bad. I've read A Song of Ice and Fire books, but I haven't really seen the TV show. But I think we've been conditioned to shows like that, and then everything else is just sort of meh. And especially with the Star Wars, Mandalorian and Cub, that's funny, General Grudge. Appropriate. But we've been conditioned to expect everything to be crap. So something comes along that's like, it's perfect, it's good, it's perfectly good, but in the like, when you compare it to the greatest shows of all time, is it a great thing? Probably not. But I compared to everything else right now, it's the best thing. All right, there's nothing else I'm interested in. I watched The Witcher, the first season of The Witcher, and if that never had another season, I would forget all about it. That's how little it grabbed me. And something like Stranger Things, the first Stranger Things season was a huge phenomenon. Everybody was binge watching that. I remember Lady Vixen and we watched the first episode, and maybe the second one, and then the next day we're like, oh, let's watch an episode, and then let's watch another episode, and then we binged the whole thing, staying up the whole night watching all the episodes. And a lot of people did that. It was huge, but that has fallen off. Now we're like, is there a season 4? I'm sure there's a season 4 planned, but I don't care. At this point, the season 2 and 3, they just got worse and worse. Let's see. General Grudge says, people downplaying the Mandalorian's goodness in this comparison nonsense are just entertainment hipsters. Yes, I agree. One of the things I like about it, and when I say it's average, I mean that in like, I'm comparing it to the greatest shows of all time, right? So I'm talking about like Star Trek The Next Generation, which I think is my favorite show of all time. Or I'm talking about like whatever the tippity top. It's a good thing. I don't think it has to be something crazy like Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones, something where it's got like all these twists and turns and epic reveals and this person actually did this, and you're talking about me. I'm the entertainment hipster. But when I'm giving it a compliment when I say that it's a good average TV show. I think it's a great Star Wars TV show. It's if we took away the Star Wars trappings, which is silly. Ultimately, it's a silly thing to say, but if we took those away, I don't think it would still be good, but it would just be, okay, that's a good show, yeah. There's nothing. I don't think there's been enough right now where I'd say it's leveled up that idea of a great show. It's something that's good and definitely enjoyable, but maybe I'm just too hard to please. General Grudge says Stranger Things was unoriginal, mediocre trash. The first season, I think, was a good throwback, nostalgic trip for people, and I think there were some pretty exciting moments. I miss you too. I'm King Ginger. I was thinking about you earlier today, actually. I was like, oh, that guy would give me a reference. So, I hope you're doing well, buddy. Yeah, so the first Stranger Things season was it was a nostalgia grab, right? But it had some exciting moments. And then the next season, I said to Lady Vixen, I said that they should just stop. It should just be an anthology show. Don't like there were not everything was tied up in a neat bow at the end. I will do that, King Ginger. But that's fine. Just let those plot things dangle and be done with it, and have an anthology show. Make it like a Twilight Zone or an Outer Limits, where the next season is something totally different. But they didn't, of course, because they want money. I wish she was playing it. She would be playing some beautiful music. We've thought about doing we've talked about, we haven't decided, about doing a Christmas episode. We've done it in the past on Twitch. A Christmas episode where she plays music. So, we may do that, where we play Christmas music, carols that people... I think one time we did it where people got to say, oh, play that. Can you play this one? And then she'd look it up and play it. So we might try to figure out how to do that in a suitable manner. It would probably involve having someone watch the baby so that we could have no distractions. But we'll see. But didn't we also stream building a gingerbread house as well? That was a fun time. And then I streamed myself watching Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, which I may do again. And I was making fun of it. Maybe I'll pick out a couple of people to come and make fun of it with me. But yes, back to The Mandalorian. I think that it is... so far has been good. And compared to the other Star Wars things post, as far as movies go, post Return of the Jedi, it is the best Star Wars thing, I think. I don't think there should be any doubt as it comes to that. And the only reason it is because it's a good Western. It's a good show. And it's a good show first without being a good Star Wars thing. And then the Star Wars things elevate it to being even better than it would have been. Mark Anthony says, better not say what my current machination is. YouTube might be watching. They're always watching, man. They're scumbags. If you guys aren't subscribed to I'm King Ginger, he makes videos every once in a while talking about political stuff. So if you guys are interested in that, he's fun to subscribe to. Lorenzo says he likes Santa Claus and the Martians. Yeah, Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. It's in the public domain here in the United States. But in other countries, it's still under copyright. So I can stream it legally as it is in the public domain here. But some people may not be able to watch it. And it may get taken down because the copyright holders will say, well, you're streaming it here. I don't know. I think last time I streamed it on Twitch, so we might see if we're able to do it. I don't know. 'Cause I hate the things where like you do a watch along where they're watching it and you're watching at the same time and it's live, but it's like you have to have their video up and they're just sitting there, but you're not actually showing the video. But that movie is the first time I had that on. We gave it to my dad for Christmas one year. We got a $1 bin or something. on DVD, and we put it on afternoon on Christmas, and I think we all fell asleep. My dad and my brothers and I, we all fell asleep watching it because it was so boring. It's just some of those bad movies. They're not like most of them are bad. They're just not entertaining to watch. But that one, it's fun to make fun of. Lorenzo says Monos, The Hands of Fate, and Plan 9 from Outer Space are other classics he enjoys. Yes. Yes. I have seen parts of both of those, but never the whole thing. Haha, I gave you your moderator status back. You can't run any more experience. Troll 2 and The Beast of Yucca Flats were also fun. I enjoy watching Red Letter Media tell me about terrible movies. I don't enjoy watching them myself, necessarily. But if you guys haven't seen the latest episode of The Mandalorian, awesome. Do you want me to take the wrench away again so you can test it out? Oh, what the heck? Did I just skip? That was weird. We had a hiccup, but I'm back, I think. Anyways, Mark Antonite, you discovered a method. Do you want me to take away the wrench so you can test it out? Maybe go an hour and a half. Oh, 9:30. I think it's about time for me to wrap it up anyways. Yeah, I skipped. Weird. I looked up and suddenly it said no data. If you don't start streaming again, we're going to kick you off. Oh, what? What did I do? Thank you for whoever just liked the video. I appreciate that. So here's what we did so far. We worked on some of this I did before the stream, but we noodled around and we worked on our ripoff of Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome poster for a potential project. So be on the lookout for this. If anybody knows my history of drawing comics, you might be able to figure out what this may be involved in. There's nothing set in stone, but you may have figured out what this may be, as the collaborator and I are still in talks about what exactly this project entails and what we want from it. Be on the lookout for this. And of course, if you guys backed Otis Stein for my friend Matthew Feely, you're going to be getting a little bonus comic that I drew. So I think I'm going to have some extras of those if you guys are interested in having a copy and you, for some reason, made the mistake of not backing Otis Stein, which is unfortunate for you. Hopefully he offers you another chance to get that at some point. But those are... that's going to be fun for everybody. I think Otis Stein and then the bonus comic. And I'm always working on my own projects. I've been sort of stuck at a high action point of the Steven Starlight comic where I know I should just push through and try to finish it, but my ability to draw this action scene is highly dubious. Oh, Eric says, and a couple of comic-sized prints he did will come with Otis Stein. Awesome. I'm glad somebody did them, because Matt had talked to me about doing a special print for Otis Stein, but that didn't happen. That just would have been too much, I think. Could I have done it? Yes. But it did not end up happening, so I'm glad somebody was able to help him out with that. bumping this. Not used to having the microphone. I got this new stand here. So I used to use it where it just sat on my desk, and now it's got the big arm coming over, as you guys can see. So that has been helpful. What was I saying? Otis Stein, yeah, good stuff. Matthew Feely, also known as Skinny, is a good dude. And he's going to be handmade bonus comics coming with this thing. We're doing it old school style. So I actually drew these, except for one page. All of it is actually, it was drawn out on paper with pen and pencil, and I think that was kind of adds to the charm of the comic. But you guys will hopefully like it and enjoy that. All right, let's save this. Lady Vixen forgot to remind me to save, probably because she's playing Mass Effect 3. I've been trying to think of a new video to do. There's ones that I've sort of worked on, but I kind of want to expand them. There was a Star Trek one that I did, and I kind of want to turn that into talking a little bit more about Star Trek. It's about, the idea for the video was about, sorry, I'm wrapping up here. I know I said I was going to wrap up 5 minutes ago. It was about why they can't make good Star Trek anymore. And my goal was to make that video and get it out. But I kind of enjoying longer videos lately. And I want to kind of make a longer one. A lot of these videos that I write tend to be about 5 minutes long. But if I put a little bit of time and effort, talk about some different aspects of Star Trek, what makes it good, give more examples and things to prove my point, I think that'll be good. So I'm working on that, but I wanted to try to figure out some way to do some new videos for you guys. So if you have any suggestions, as always, you can contact me on Twitter at FlyFoxPro, on Facebook at FlyFox Productions. Go to our website at flyfoxproductions.com and read some written reviews of things I've done, as well as some other content. Like and subscribe. Don't forget to share. And go watch Gary Shipman's channel. Adios.
Explosion!